Hello guys and welcome to Laravel 7 tutorials. So guys, in the previous video we successfully implemented the create functionality for categories, and in this video we are going to implement the read functionality for categories. And for read functionality we are going to use data tables. Why? Because data table provides us with some extra feature and extra functionalities. Let's say we want to implement a sorting on a specific table, or let's say we want to implement a search functionality in a table, or let's say we want to implement the pagination. Data table is going to give us all of these out of the box, and we don't need to implement them on our own. So we are with the help of data table, we are going to have searching and sorting and paginations, etc. Okay guys, so you are going to love this video because it is going to be a life changer for you, because you can use this data tables in your every product, every type of product. Let's say just name it and you can implement it on it. Okay, so guys, let's start, and I will move to because data table is a package, so I need to first download it in my project. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move to Google, and let's say Yajra data tables. Okay, right here, second link, Yajra box, and I am going to click this installation Laravel data tables, and right here I will click installing Laravel data tables right here. Okay, so just for the configuration, let's say if you are using Laravel version lower than 5.5, then what you have to do, you have to do some extra step. You have to define this piece of code in config/app.php, and if you are using Laravel greater than 5.5, then you don't need to worry about it, because Laravel is going to handle it efficiently. So what do we need right here is we just need to run this command in git bash, composer require yajra Laravel data tables. Okay, so I will move to git bash, and I have already accessed my project directory and folder. So what I'm going to do is paste this command right here. Okay, and hit enter, and it is going to take some time, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay guys, so I got an error right here, PHP Fatal error, allowed memory size of this and that, exhausted. So the resolution of this error is that we need to exceed the size of the composer memory, and we can resolve this issue with the help of that. So I just wanted to show you that if you get any specific error like this, what you have to do is first of all clear the config cache, PHP artisan config cache. Okay, and then we need to implement composer underscore memory underscore size is equals to -1, and then the exact same command, paste, not this one, I don't know why I got this, sorry guys. Okay, composer, I will copy it from right here, this one, copy and move to git bash and paste it right here. That's it, and let's wait for the download to complete. Okay guys, so now you can see it is successfully installed. So what I'm going to do now, we need to create the table structure for data tables, because it is not going to be a normal table, but we are only going to define a table with table headings. That's it. Okay, so let's do that first. I will move to Sublime, and I'm going to open category blade. Let me see, categories blade right here. Okay, so inside this body we are going to create our table structure. Okay, let's do that. Table, and let's define some classes. Class table, table minus striped, table minus bordered, and with, let's say, 100. Okay, and I am also going to define the ID, so we can get this table inside our JS, and we can put some data using data tables. Okay, so for that I'm going to define ID, and ID would be categories. Okay, that's it. Okay, now the next thing is we need to define is t head, and inside that I'm going to open a table row, and we are going to define the table heading, columns heading basically, th, and let's say scope call, and name would be, let's say, hash id for id. Okay, I'm going to copy this and paste it right here, and I think that's enough. And let's change this to name to created underscore or created at, like this, and updated at, that's it. Okay, and edit, and I'm going to need a delete. Okay, but for now I'm going to comment these to edit and delete. Why? I will tell you the reason, because we are not going to implement or edit or delete functionality in this video, but in the later video. And also the reason is we don't have this edit and delete column in our database, so we are going to render these two columns on our own. Okay, so we will do that in this video. Okay, so next task is we need the data table CDNs. Okay, so let's move to Google, and I'm going to search data table CDN, just like this. Data table CDN, first link, and let's say Bootstrap 4, because we are using Bootstrap 4. Okay, so these are the links that we can use, and I just want to show you guys that this is the related JavaScript. Okay, and I want to mention one thing right here, that in the later videos I'm going to change this link for myself. Why? Because most of you guys have the internet, but sometimes I want to make a video but I don't have the internet. So what I'm going to do for that, I'm just going to copy this JS and save it in a file, and I will be using this CDN as a localhost file. Okay, so you can do that too, but in just in case to save some memory size or file size, you just need to include the CDN. So for now, to show you guys, I'm going to use a CDN, but just keep in mind, let's say if you see any link that is not related to you, just keep in mind that I'm using these links as a localhost file. Basically, I'm copying this JavaScript to my localhost files, and I will be using or locating that specific file in my project. Okay, just for now I will copy this, and the best place to include this file is master layout, and other thing would be, let's say we are going to use these data table in categories, tags, and let's say super admin, admins, etc., messages and contact us messages, let's say, and the other thing would be blogs and so on. So for, let's say, if you want to include this JS related file to a specific file, you can do that. Just define it inside the CSS related file right here, inside these tags, and the JavaScript related file right here. Okay, but for now I'm going to include it in the master layout, because we are going to use these files in most of our pages, most of them, not all. Okay, so just keep in mind. For now I'm going to place it in master layout. Okay, and let's define a link, and href would be this one that I just copied. Okay, now it's time for the JS related to data table. Copy, and right here let's create a script tag, that's it, and define a source, and source would be the link that we got. Okay, and the third link is right here. Copy and just paste it the same way, script and source, paste it right here. Okay, so we have successfully included the JS and CSS file, so everything should work normally. Now is the time that we need how to implement the data tables. For that, we can simply move to demo application in yajrabox.com. Demo application. Okay, and I will move to eloquent raw details, source code, and right here we can get the code how to implement this. Okay, so for now what we are going to do, I am going to copy this stuff. right here. Okay, if you want to, you can copy all this as well, but it is just that I am familiar with a specific way, and I feel free and I feel confident when I implement it that way. So I'm not going to use all this, but I'm going to use this way. Copy, and let's paste it in our JS file that is included in category.js. Okay, so I will look for category.js. Okay, right here. Remember that you need to include this code, this specific JS related code, in a specific file that is related to your categories. For this time we are working with categories, so we are going to include it in category.js related file, okay, which contains the JS for categories. Let's align this. Okay, and right here like this. Now let's align this, and I'm going to paste my code right here. Okay guys, okay, now the first thing we need to do is I'm just going to copy this ID. I just told you before that we are going to use this ID to create a variable of table that will contain our data tables. Okay, paste just like that. Okay, so I will describe this each in a great detail, but for now just stick with me and try to understand what am I doing right here. Control Z, and we need to cut it from right here to here. That's it. Okay, now I need to include some more thing. Let's say responsive. Okay, it is going to make a table responsive, but not completely, because we need to do some extra effort, media query, and that will be included in the let's say extra features videos. Okay, responsive true, auto with true, not like that, auto with true, and let's say I don't want this order to be like this. Let's just remove it. Okay, and right here order, sorry guys, and it would be, let's say, with the help of 0, and in the specific order, let's say ascending. Okay guys, so we copied this JS from here. So right here it was using a request like this, but in our case we need to define a separate link that we are going to use. Okay, just keep that in mind right here. Okay, sorry for the Ajax, this one. Okay, so I will just remove all this, and we need to do some extra steps. That's it, Ajax, and we need to define the URL. What is going to be the URL that we want to hit to get in order to get the tables, rows and columns. URL, and it would be, let's say, base URL. That's why we defined base layout in master. Now we can understand it better. Let's move to master backend right here. Right here you can see we implemented a variable named base URL, and let me just define it as a var base. Okay, so we were defining a base URL variable so that we can get the root, the directory or root path of our application. Let's say if we move to from local environment to live environment, the live environment path would be different from the local environment. So what we are doing right here, we are leaving it to Laravel to get the base URL for us, whatever it is, the domain name or the local host, etc. Get it for us, and then we are going to define the route that we want to hit. I am concatenating with the help of plus, and I am concatenating my rest of the path. Get, or rest of the URL, get all categories. Okay, next step is, what would be the type? Type would be, let's say, get for now. Okay, but I want to mention one thing right here, that let's say if you are using for data tables, if you are using a get request for getting the data, what will happen? Let's say if you have if you are getting more than 5 columns, you will not be able to see the result in the live environment. I'm talking with the help of experience, so just keep that in mind. Let's say if you have more than 5 columns, don't use get request but use post request. Why? Because when you implement a get request and you get the 10 columns from the database and you are showing it correctly in the local environment, but now you move your application from local environment to live environment, you will not be able to see the result, but in local host you will be able to see the result. So this is the difference. That's why we need the post request when we have more columns. I'm talking with the help of experience. I have been through this situation, so that's why, and I will tell you how to implement the post request as well. Okay, don't worry. Okay guys, so columns, these are the columns that we are getting from the database. This is the column ID that we are getting for the categories, then the name, and we don't need this email, so I will remove it. Okay, and we need 2 more columns, ID, name, created at, updated at, and these are all the columns right here, data with the data, and right here these columns we are getting it from the database, and we are passing the same names for our references. Okay, so we need to do that. If you are new to data tables, just stick with the video. Okay, and when you have a better understanding on data tables, you can do whatever you like. Okay, and I need to add one more. These are for the edit and delete, but for now I'm going to just comment it for now. But let's just create action, and it would be, because this is the column or row we are creating on a row. This is basically a column which we are creating on each row on our own, so we need to define some specific render function for this. Name would be again action, and I want to implement order able equals to false, searchable equals to not equals to columns false. Okay, I will just copy this. I will tell you why I'm doing this. Okay, but once we see the result after that, just keep that in mind. Okay, that's it from right here. Okay, now one more thing that I want to mention, but let me just show you the results first. For that I will just comment these lines right here, and I'm going to remove a comment so we can see the results, because we have total of 4 columns, 0 1 2 3, and right here 0 1 2 3. Guys, keep in mind, don't miss any type of colon or comma etc., because you will be in a great trouble. Why? Because it is going to display a same error, like you will not have a proper reference that I'm doing this specific mistake. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, and one more thing I would like to add right here, the th right here, in this case we have 4th, and right here we have 4th, because these two are commented out, and right here as well. Okay, just keep in mind that the number of the data columns right here 1 2 3 4 should match these 1 2 3 4. Okay, just keep that in mind, because you are a beginner, so I just have to tell you that with my own experience. Okay guys, okay, because I have suffered a lot using this data tables, but it is just awesome. You will love it. Okay guys, okay, let's see some results, and for that what we need is, sorry, not this, I will just close it. We need the method to fetch the data from the controller. Okay, because we are making a request and we don't have a route, so let's make that first, web.php, and let's move forward, sorry, downward, and right here I'm going to create a route, get, and let's say get all categories. The route, the URL that I defined in the JS file, category controller @get all categories. Okay, okay guys, let's move to category controller. Just to test things, what I'm going to do is, let's first put a comment, getting all the categories in data tables. Okay, public function get all categories. Okay, that's it. Let's dd something here. Okay, so that we can see that we are successfully hitting the route. Okay, we are not getting the data in this case. I just need to check if we are getting there or not. Let's run this PHP artisan serve. Okay, let's move 1 to 7. Let's see what we have. Okay, I will move to login because in order to see the category I need to be logged in. I will put my very secret password. Okay guys, okay, let's move to categories and let's see what we have. Inspect. Okay, so we have one error, that is unexpected identifier. Let's fix this first. Line 13, it was saying it was in line 13. Let me just refresh once again. Okay, this one uncalled JS line 13 right here. Okay, so we have a mistake. Let's correct that first. Category.js. okay, columns right here. Okay, line 13, this one. Oh, okay, so we put a comma right here, we missed it. Okay, let's refresh. Okay guys, and let's see if we have something else. Yes, data table is not a function, type error. Let's see what this error belongs to. So this is related to something else. Let's see what we did. Okay guys, so it seems like we are not loading our JS related to data tables. Let's see our master layout. This is the master layout. Yeah, right here we are not including, or we included the JS related file in a wrong master or front end related master. So I will search master and that was related to, let's say, front end. I think we implemented it right here or somewhere. Nope, not right here, but I'm sure we included somewhere. Let's find that master and maybe the auth one. Yes, right here. So we need to cut it from right here. Sorry guys, sorry for the silly mistake. We are using different master layout for different custom logins and front end and back end. So this was the mistake. We need to include it in the correct file, master blade, that is related to back end. So let's include the CSS right here. Okay, right here, and we need the JS as well from right here. To cut it, save it, close it and paste it in the correct file, that is master blade related to. When we search we can see the link. See, master, see, this one we previously implemented in the links, and right now we need to implement it in this one, resources views backend. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, and let's paste our code right here. That's it. I hope it works now. Refresh. Okay guys, so we don't have any error, but this is related to categories because we are not getting any sort of data up till now, but the request is success. You can see status 200 right here. We are on our message. Let me just move to category. Yeah, right here. Sorry, I was seeing right here. Okay guys, so the next step is to get the data and place it inside the data tables. Just copy these methods, these lines right here. See, these one. Okay, let's move and paste it right here. Let's align this, not like that. Control Z, and let's align this, these one. Okay, not like that. Sorry, I will do that later. Okay guys, okay, so we don't need to do this query like this. What we can do is category all. I need all, that's it. We don't need to specify the columns. Okay, and let's say categories because these are going to be multiple categories. Okay, so we can make the data table of using this variables that we get, and this variable contains the collection of all the records. So what we need to do is return data tables. We are using a method of data tables that is off, and we are passing our data right here. Okay, and return true. That's it. Let's see what we have. Control F5. Okay, process this and that, and sometimes we have some error. Okay, so this error is my fault and not related to something else. That is, we forgot to include the class app not app yajra datatables. Okay, just keep in mind you can use this to import the data tables, okay, in order to use these methods of etc. Okay, let's refresh. So this was a human error, guys. Okay, and now we have something else. So this is what happened. Okay, so now we successfully included the class, but it is showing the error that we have seen previously. So what we need to do is, I think we need to clear the config cache. You have to be open-minded to understand these errors. Okay guys, PHP artisan config cache, and let's run again PHP artisan. So okay, let's refresh. Okay guys, so now we have our error. Oh sorry, not errors, but we have our result. Sorry guys, sorry for the silly mistakes that I'm making. Okay guys, now the next task is we can edit these date and time according to our needs, and for that let's do a quick thing, and that is I will move to but first let's get the edit and delete column for now. Okay, we are going to work the related to edit or delete in the next videos, but for now let's just get the edit and delete columns right here. Okay, so let's do that first. Okay, category.js, and I want these columns. Okay, and I want it right here as well. That's it. Now we will have total of 6 columns, and we will have some error because we are not we don't have, as I have mentioned, that we don't have these. First of all, I have an issue right here. Okay, now we are not going to see any sort of data. You can see 0 column 4 action. It is unable to find action related data, or you can say see right here. So what we need to do is, and right here we are seeing the updated time in the delete. Why? Because this is the reason. Action 1, this is going to be another action, so just name it whatever you like, but keep them like same right here in the name and in the data right here and right here. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, now we have total of 6 columns, and we have an error on edit and delete. Right here you can see it is unable requested. If you see the error, requested unknown parameter action for row 0 column 4. Why? Because it is unable to find edit related column in our database. Okay, so this is why we are seeing error. So how do we fix this? We are going to render these 2 columns on our own. How? Let's see what can we do. Okay guys, okay, now what I'm going to do is, let's say right here column definitions. I'm defining basically I'm providing a definition for each column that I want to render on my own. Okay, and right here what I'm going to do is, this is going to be an object, so we will put another curly braces, and let's create a function right here, render function, and function will take data type row meta. That's it. Okay, and now we are going to return something in order to see the data in these file, in these action 1 and action and action 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the console sign right here so that we can escape the double colon, the double quotes and single quote. So for that I'm using the console sign. Okay, so let's put an anchor href. For now href would be like say hash, and classes would be not like this. Class is equals to btn minus primary and btn minus sm, and I want to assign a class so that whenever we click edit we can get the related data. So for that purpose I'm going to define a class right here. Just keep that in mind because we are going to work on it in the next video. Edit category, specific category, and then I'm going to assign an ID so that we can get the record from the database using this specific ID right here that I'm going to define. So how are we going to get the ID of a specific each specific row? It is really simple. We can simply use $sign with curly brackets, a row that I have defined right here in this function row, and I want the ID. We can get the ID from right here. Okay, this ID is related to this one. We are getting each row ID and placing it right here. That's it, nice and simple. And let's put a name, edit, and let's close this anchor. That's it. Okay, now I want this render function to be implemented on a specific column, that is targets 5, or no, I have to just remember that it starts from 0 0 1 2 3 4, so it is going to be the 4th one on which I am going to implement the edit. Okay, let's see what we have. Refresh, and now we have a column related error to column number 5, and we are having our edit field right here. Okay, so let me show you the ID of this edit. See, ID1, ID1. If we want to inspect this one, the 5th one, yeah, so you will see the ID 5th. So we are getting the ID successfully. What we need to do now, copy this, and we are going to implement this for the 5th column as well, which is the delete column, and I'm going to change this to delete category, and I'm getting the row ID, and I'm going to change this text to delete, and I'm going to change the button color to danger. Okay, and change the target to 5 because in this case we are working on action 1, this one, the 5th column, 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, it starts from 0, just remember that. Okay guys, so now we don't have any sort of error and our data tables are implemented successfully. Let me just show you what we can do with this data table. Okay guys, so let's try to search for a test result, test, and you can see the result that is related to test. Let's say we want to find health related. We just put a health right here and it is sorted. Okay, now let's see the sorting. Okay, let's say I want to sort this. So what I'm going to do, just click in the header and you can see the result change. See, let's try with the name. And if you want to remove the sorting from a specific column, what you can do is what I have done right here, orderable false, searchable false, right here. Searchable equals to false, basically defining a searchable on a specific column that you don't want to be, let's say if you want to, sorry for the mistake guys, I'm not good at English at all, sorry guys, I know that. Okay, but still I'm trying my level best. And so let's say if you want the name column not to be searchable or not to be sortable, so what you can do is put these fields right here just like this. Okay, and it will be done just right here. See, edit and delete, and you can't see any orderable or searchable field, and if I click on edit nothing happens, but when I click on update you can see something happening with the help of process. See, okay, so if you want to remove the sorting or orderable from specific column, you can do that with the help of these. Okay, now guys, I want to change these really what you can say bad looking dates to something more familiar or something good. So what I'm going to do, we don't need to do anything. All you have to do, just search your query. For example, I want data tables date in a carbon format, and I will put Laravel right here, laravel-datatables date in carbon format. Laravel includes this carbon format, which is really good, guys, very good. Sorry, it is related to, yeah, right here, data tables. So what you can also search it in the yajrabox.com, date time carbon object. Okay, so you can use this link if you are unable to find this, datatables.yajrabox.com/fluent/carbon. I am going to source, and from source I am going to get these two from right here. See, added column created at, added column updated at. So when the data table is going to get the records from the database right here, it is going to edit these column to the new dates that we want to define. Okay, just like that. Now we need to change some things. Okay, let's do that first. Okay, now since we are using categories variable, so we are not going to say that we want to implement that on a user. So what we need to do, and here we have multiple you can say multiple collection of records, etc. So we are looping, in this case in added column we are looping each record. So we are going to assign it as a singular, like categories should be category. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this category to right here, with user, right here, and right here, and right here. That's it. I think this should work. And Control Z. Okay, this should work. And now let's change this to D minus hyphen M minus Y, and same here, copy and paste it right here. That's it, guys, it's done. And yeah, okay, let me show you. So you can also see the errors. F5, it is not going to work. Why? Because we have an error. Why? Because we didn't include the carbon right here, app http controller carbon. So Laravel by default has this carbon, but in order to use it you need to define it. Use carbon. Okay, guys, that's it. Now let's refresh and let's see what happens. Okay, guys, so we have some error. Okay, undefined variable user, we missed a user somewhere in here. Yeah, right here. Basically I did change, but when I did Control Z it went back. That's the only reason. Okay, guys, so now we are able to see the result and we don't have any error. It is all success right here. You can see everything is working fine. And in the next videos we are going to work on edit and delete. On click of edit we are going to open a modal and get this specific related data so we can edit it or change it, etc. And for delete we are going to do that in the next video after the edit video. Okay, so for now that's it, and I just want to recap on this code JS right here so you can understand it. And first of all I want to show you, let's say by default if you want to have more than 10 rows, so what you can do is you can do right here page length, and it should be, let's say 50. We have some options right here if you want to see 50, 20, 10, 25, 50, 100. So in this case I am saying that whenever we are going to show this table we need the first 50 rows to be displayed. Refresh, and in this case we have only 8, but you can see it is working and we are showing 50 as the option. Okay, so now let me tell you how is it working this way. Okay, first of all, guys, we are waiting for the document to be in the ready state, when the document is ready, we are creating a table of data tables. Okay, we are passing or we are setting some variables. Processing, server side processing is this icon, because now I can explain it better to you, because we have some results. Let's say if you want to search for test, you can see a processing right here. It is appearing on your screen, health. Let's say if I remove it, or let's say let me show you with the pointer. See this one. Let's say if you want don't want this processing to be visible, we can remove it or comment it. That's it. Let's refresh again and let's try to search test, and now you are not seeing anything related to process. Okay guys, so this is what processing does. Okay, and this server side is means that we are implementing a query on the category controller side or in the controller. So this is what server side means right here. Responsive, the table should be responsive, but as I have said, we need to do some media query, or we need to add some classes and remove some classes in order to get better result on mobile views. Okay, so we need to do that, and we will do that in the extra features. Okay, auto width means that data table is we are assigning the rights to data table to give the width or height of each column on its own. And let's say if you want to assign the width or height of a specific column, you can do that as well. Okay, we will see that as well. And if you want to go ahead, you can search for it and you will get it. Page length, I have already told you, and right here in this case, when I'm getting the data tables, I want my table to be sorted with respect to 0 column. In this case, this column in order ascending. Let's say I want to do it in the descending order. DESC, not DESC. That's it. Let's refresh, and right here you can see it starts from 1. Now it will start from 8. Right. Okay, in the descending order. Now let's say if you want to implement the sorting based on another column, in another column, let's say in this case I am ordering or sorting my records using this column, first column. This is 0, this is first, and let's refresh, and now you can see it is in alphabetical order, B, H, P, etc. Okay, so you can play around like that. Okay, I will just revert this. Okay, now in order to get the Ajax request, we passed a base URL. We are creating a variable in our master layout so that we can use it, whatever it is in it, either it is localhost or the live environment, we can simply use it. And after that I am defining my URL that I have defined right here to hit this specific method. Okay, now first let's complete this, then we are going to see for the post request. It is really simple. Okay, now here we are getting all the columns that are in the database, and these names right here, these are related to the column name in the database, and these what we are defining are unknown. Okay, and just make sure the number of columns right here that you have defined should match the number of columns right here. Okay, start from 0 or just be this, it should be same. Okay, then we don't have the edit and delete column in the database, so what we are going to do, we are rendering these column on our own with the help of render function and passing the row IDs, because it is going to loop these records, and whenever when the loop is going on, I am assigning each row ID to this edit and delete button. That's it. Okay, now let's see for the post request, because I have told you that let's say if you have more than 5 columns and it will work in local environment with the help of cache, it will work perfectly fine. But let's say if you move to your live environment, you will not be able to see the results. So what can we do for that? Simply I'm going to use a post request right here, and okay guys, sorry I took a pause for a second due to some reasons, but now let's say if you want to use a post request, we need to pass the Csrf token, and which we have already defined in right here in the master that is related to backend. Let me just see right here, this one, and you can see we have we are creating a Csrf token right here, so we can use it with the help of Ajax request. That's why we created all this. Okay guys, so this was the reason. Now you understand it better. Okay, now let's create a data, and I want to do is let's say I'm going to assign a token underscore token, and it will be $, and I want to get the meta. So meta where name is, let's say, Csrf minus token, and I want to get this, and then I want its attribute named content. Okay, that's it guys, right here, close it, that's it, and we don't need a semicolon right here, sorry. Refresh, and we need to change it to post request as well. Just let me show you with an error first. Okay, so this is the error, see, for more information, so it is going to point to the same error. So all you have to do, keep in mind that you need to check your commas, colons, etc., each and everything. Okay, here it matters a lot. Post, the request is now post. Okay, and we are having some issue. Let's see what we have. Console, okay, 419 get all categories. The get method is not supported, and I already saved it as a post request. Let's see what we have. Save, and right here post. Okay, it is fine. I don't know why. Let me see. Okay, let's clear the cache first. Maybe the cache is the issue. PHP artisan config cache, PHP artisan. So okay, so now I think we have some error, so I will just check it. Let's resolve. Okay, so I think everything is just fine, but we are getting this error. Let's see, because I have changed that to post request right here in web.php, and let's do a hard reload so we can see the error. Okay, get all categories. Okay, so this is the issue guys, Csrf token mismatch. I think I have misspelled it somewhere in the JS file. Csrf minus token, Csrf underscore token, right here the name Csrf underscore token. Okay, so we need to change this to underscore, and I think this should work now. Refresh, and now it is working perfectly fine. So guys, this was the mistake, the minor mistake, that I mistyped this. The name was Csrf underscore token right here. Okay, so that's why we previously defined the Csrf token right here, so we can use it later with the help of Ajax request. So guys, that's it from this video. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you, take care, and yes, be ready. Okay guys, okay.